Hello friends, welcome you all to this session once again. So in this video, we are starting with Indian geography. First chapter, we'll dealing with a very small chapter first of all. It is about the soil and types. Okay. So what is a soil? Soil, how the soil is formed? Soil comprises of many mineral particles. Okay. So this soil is very related. How I am saying is always this climate, soil and economy. These three are interrelated. How it is interrelated? When I'm talking about climate, it is about the rainfall. So when there is adequate rainfall, when there is sufficient amount of rainfall, that helps to the fertility of the soil. Then only the soil will be fertile and then you will be able to cultivate the crops. When you're cultivating crops, it is about the production. So the crop has been produced and this adds to the GDP of the country because agriculture is the backbone of our country. So that is why your climate, soil and economy, these three are interrelated to each other and soil plays an important and crucial role. So how this, I already mentioned that this soil comprises of many mineral particles. How the soil is formed? What are the characteristics for this soil formation? That we'll see first of all before diving into the types of soil. So the first characteristics required is your parent material. So this soil is formed because of disintegration of a rock. Okay, so this cycle we have seen in the physical geography. If you have not watched that video, just go and watch that video. In physical geography, we have dealt in detail about the soil formation, about sedimentary rocks, the rock formation we have dealt. So in continuation to that, we know how this soil has been formed from the rock. So always the soil, when it is formed, the main thing or the main parameter to measure is the parent material, from which rock it is disintegrating. So that rock will have some characteristic feature. That same feature will be applicable to this soil also. The texture, the color, all depends on the composition of the soil. Everything depends on the parent material, which is nothing but the rock from which it is disintegrated or it is deposited. So that is the parent material. The next thing is about your relief. So how relief helps in the soil formation? So just imagine the slopes. Okay, so when there are steep slopes, the water passing through that slope will be very rapid and there is no time for the water to deposit any load. Okay, so when there is a steep slope, there is no environment for a soil to be formed. On the other hand, when there is a slope is gentle like this, the flow of the river will be very contained. It will not be that much rapid. So there is huge possibility for soil formation. So this relief helps in the soil formation. That is the second thing. The third thing is the climate. Already I mentioned climate is rainfall. So when there is sufficient amount of rainfall, okay, when there is sufficient amount of rainfall, and also sufficient amount of temperature, it results in evaporation. Okay, so what is evaporation? Evaporation is nothing but the liquid is transformed into a gaseous state. Okay, that is evaporation. So with respect to evaporation, then what happens? It is the condensation. Condensation, which is the formation of clouds. Then clouds. Again the process of precipitation, rain form. Okay, so when there is sufficient amount of rainfall and sufficient amount of temperature only, we will get rain. When rain is there only, you will get a good relief, good base for a soil to be formed. So this climate always plays an important role. The fourth important parameter is your natural vegetation. So how this natural vegetation plays an important role is the humus. What is humus? Humus is nothing but the dead living organic materials like a fallen leaf or the excreta of the animals. These all are known as the natural vegetation. That also adds fertility to the soil. Without any adding manure or fertilizer, these humus acts as a natural fertilizer to the soil. So these four things are the important parameter for a soil formation to take place. So that we have understood. Now we'll study about the types of soil. Okay, generally if you say the types of soil, it is divided into two. Okay, that we'll see. So generally speaking, the Indian soils are divided into two types. Okay, two parts I can say. One is the soils of peninsular India and the next one is the soil of extra peninsular India. Okay, so with respect to the peninsular region soil, how it is formed is because of the disintegration of the rocks. That is the main thing of this peninsular region. It is formed because of the decomposition or disintegration. So mainly it is formed because of this decomposition activity. When a rock decomposes or disintegrated, then the small particles will be transported and that is why the soil is formed. That is with respect to peninsular India. What happens with the extra peninsular India? It is always because of the depositional activities of the rivers. Okay. We know the paths of rivers. Okay. How it is starting, how it is traveling through and how it ends through. We know the water cycle. Okay. So what happens is this river passing through the mountains, it will carry huge loads, and that load will be deposited in every stages, and that is why the soil is formed. That is with respect to the extra peninsular India. So have clear in mind, with respect to peninsular India, the soils formed is because of the decomposition or disintegration of rocks. With respect to extra peninsular India, it is only because of deposition activity. This is the general types. Now we'll dive into the typical types of soils. So with respect to the types of soil, these 7 are the types of soil. First one is the alluvial soil, second is the black soil, third is the red soil, fourth is laterite soil, and fifth is the forest and mountain soils, sixth is the desert and alkaline soils, seventh one is the peaty and marshy soil. So these are the 7 types of soil, and with respect to UPSC and very particularly with respect to prelims, these 7 types of soil are very important. And we'll be studying in different parameters. Every soil contains a unique feature that we'll be studying, and composition will be studying, and what are the crops grown. This is the parameter in which we'll deal with every soils here. Okay, so first we'll deal with the alluvial soil. So how this alluvial soil is formed? The formation of alluvial soil. This is mainly because of the depositional activity. This alluvial soil is mainly because of this depositional activities of the rivers. Okay, mainly in what regions you can find this? Mainly in the Indo-Gangetic plain. Okay, Indo-Gangetic plain, I refer to the Himalayas. Okay, starting from west in the Punjab to east West Bengal. Okay, those areas. All the mountains you can see, because I told alluvial soil is of depositional nature. Okay, the parent material of this soil is of transported origin. So practically you think where you can find this alluvial soil when it is a depositional nature, you can find this soils in every river bed. Okay, because the river, it will take all the load and it will deposit. That is known as the alluvial soil. Okay, so you can find majorly in the Indo-Gangetic plains, and if you come down south, you can find these soils in every deltas of peninsular rivers like Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna. Every deltas you can find this soil. Okay, so have that clear in mind. Alluvial soil is of depositional origin, and you can find this alluvial soil in every river bed, in every deltas where a water body is meeting a land. In that circumstances, you can find this alluvial soil everywhere. Okay, so being said that, so now we'll see about the composition of soil. Okay, since this soil is of depositional nature, this soil is naturally, this is very low in nitrogen. Okay, so nitrogen is comparatively low. Very low nitrogen. Other components like the potash, phosphorus and alkalis are adequate in nature. So nitrogen is very low because it is of depositional nature. Okay, that is the second point. We have dealt where these soils are found. Okay, so what are the crops that can be grown? Okay, what are the crops that can be grown in alluvial soil? It is your wheat, paddy and maize and sugarcane also. So these are the crops which can be grown in this type of alluvial soil. So this alluvial soil is again divided into 4 types. Okay, that types will deal, which is very important. So these are the types of alluvial soil. First one is the Kadar, second is Bunker, and third is Babar, and fourth one is Tarai. These are the types of alluvial soil. We all know alluvial soil is of depositional nature. Okay, so this Bunker, first we will study about the Bunker. Bunker is also known as the old alluvium. Kadar is known as the new alluvium. Nothing. Bunker is a old alluvium, which means that these bunker soils are layers of old deposition. Okay, since they are old, you can find these bunker soils and at a very higher reaches. It will be always at an elevation of 30 meter from this Kadar soil. Okay, so this bunker is an old alluvium. With respect to your Kadar, it is a new alluvium. It is very fresh. It is very young. Okay, so this Kadar you can always find in the foothills or the lower layers. It will be always in the lower layers, and it is often flooded because it is a new alluvium. So that is with respect to your Kadar and Bunker. So this Babar, where can you find this Babar alluvium? This Babar alluvium you can find in the Shivalik ranges. What is Shivalik? While dealing with physiography, we will deal with everything. But now understand, Himalayas is divided into 3. One is Himadri, Himachal and Shivalik. Himadri is the upper range, Himachal is the middle range, and Shivalik is the lower range. In the foothills of Shivalik, you can find this Babar in a very large extent, this Babar alluvium. Okay, so what is the important feature of this Babar alluvium is it is very porous in nature. So what do you mean by porous? You take a sponge, okay, you take a sponge and pour water to the sponge. That sponge will suck all the water and it will contain in it. That is the porous characteristics, and that characteristics applicable to the Babar type of alluvium. Okay, we are talking about the Himalayas. In the lower foothills of Shivalik, you can find this Babar. So what happens is, many river systems start from the Himalayas. Okay, many river systems start from the Himalayas, and they take big loads. Okay, they pass through all the valleys, they take big loads, and finally when they are reaching the Shivalik and also on the foothills of Shivalik, they will deposit huge lumps of loads like pebbles, all will be deposited, and that forms the layer of this Babar. Okay, then again when water passes through this Babar, since this Babar alluvium is very porous one, it will suck all the water. Okay, all the water will go through the pebbles all deposited. So this Babar will suck all the water underground. All the load will be deposited in the upper layer, and all the water will go below the Babar alluvium. Okay, that is the characteristics of this Babar. So what is this Tarai? This Tarai is nothing but you can find this Tarai in the south of Babar. Okay, south of Babar you can find this Tarai alluvium. So what is this Tarai alluvium? When I am dealing with the Babar alluvium, I told all the deposition, all the loads are deposited in the upper layer, and the water will just penetrate inside the underground. Okay, so those penetrated water, they will come again in this Tarai belt. So when this water will again emerge in the Tarai. So since the water is emerging, you can find always this Tarai as a very silty and muddy area. Okay, it will be always muddy, and it is not that much advisable, or that it is not that much friendly for a crop production. Okay, so that is Tarai. But with respect to your natural wildlife, it is a good soil for natural wildlife. A best example is you can find the Jim Corbett National Park and the Kaziranga National Park. These national parks are located in this Tarai belt of alluvium. So that is about your alluvial soil. Once again, I will recap it. Alluvial soil, first thing you should remember is it is of depositional nature. Since it is depositional nature, you can find these alluvial soils in all the river beds, mainly in the deltas in peninsular India, and with respect to North India, it is mainly found in the Indo-Gangetic plains. With respect to your Ganga, Brahmaputra and Yamuna, you can find these alluvial soils in every depositional of these rivers. Okay, that is first point. And since it is depositional nature, it is very lacking in nitrogen. And what are the crops grown? We have already discussed. It is your wheat, paddy, maize, sugarcane, all can be grown there. This soil is very much fertile. The next thing is the types of alluvium, which is your Khadar, Bangar, Babar and Tarai. Okay, these are very important with respect to your UPSC prelims. So that is about the alluvial soil. Next we will discuss about the black soil. So we have studied about the alluvial soil. Next we will deal about the black soil. Okay, the second important soil type of in Indian geography, it is the black soil. So why it is black? Okay, what is the formation of this black soil? We have understood that alluvial soil is because of depositional nature. How this black soil is formed and why it is black in color? Okay, that we will deal. So this black soil is because of the volcanic activity. We know very well what happens in volcano and how this volcano erupted. These all things we have studied in physical geography. Okay, please excuse me. Then and there I will be referring physical geography because Indian geography is nothing without physical geography. Once you have understood physical geography fully, Indian geography there is no need to study because everything is interlinked here. Okay, so we have studied about volcano in the physical geography. Okay, so what happens in volcano? The underground lava just erupt and it is thrown away. That is volcano. Okay, so when these lava which is thrown out, when these lava solidifies and it is deposited again and again, then forms the black soil, and that is why it is black in color. Black means it is not pure black. If you can take any images in Google, the color will be fully ash and a mix of black. That is why it is called black soil. Okay, so that is about the formation. So where can you find these black soils? What are the regions you can find? The main characteristics of this black soil is it should be high temperature and low rainfall. This is the proper area where you can find the black soil. So when high temperature and low rainfall, it is always a dry region. It is always a dry region. So you in regions where you can find this black soil is mainly you can see these soils in Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka and Gujarat, Chota Nagpur plateau. In these belt you can find the black soils very much. That is one thing. And what is the important or unique feature of this black soil? One of the main unique feature of this black soil is the retentive of moisture. So what is the retentive of moisture? What happens is, okay, during the wet season, this black soil will expand. It will swell. Okay, it will swell very much. But on the other hand, when it is a dry region, this soil will squeeze inside. Okay, so the soil which is present in the upper layer, it will go down. Okay, it will grow down, and what happens in the upper layer is when the upper layer will become very much dry and it will expand. Okay, during wet season it will squeeze. During dry season the soil will go inside and the layer present in the upper that will expand, and you can find cracks there. Crack means a very big cracks like 10 to 15 centimeter crack will be formed. You can just view the crack. Okay. So that much crack will be formed, and what happens is through that crack, what happens is the soil is present down. Okay, cracks is there. So this is very good for the soil oxygenation. The oxygenation of soil is very much, and the soil will be in a fertile state. Also, when a crack is there, always the fallen leaf or the excreta of the animals, these will go inside the soil and that soil will suck it. So the soil is moisture, at the same time the soil is fertile. Okay, but if you look in the upper part, it will be very dry, but in lower part it is very fertile and moisture. That is retentive of moisture. This black soil is very good in that, and that's why the crop which is very apt for this black soil is your cotton. Cotton is the best crop grown in this black soil. How you can remember this? Cotton is white in color, this is black, so black and white. That is why you can remember cotton is good for black soil. This black soil is also known as cotton soil. Okay, so in that way you can imagine cotton is the highly produced crop in this black soil. So that is one thing. So since this black soil is retentive of moisture, okay, without adding any chemical fertilizer or manure itself, this soil is always fertile. Okay, that's why you can find crops like cotton and wheat, jowar, tobacco, rubber, everything growing in this black soil without adding any fertilizer or manure. Okay, so that is about your black soil and alluvial soil. Next we'll deal with the red soil. So after studying about the alluvial and black soil, we are moving to the red soil. Okay, so first important point about this red soil is, this is the largest group. Okay, largest group of soil found in India, which is the red soil. So what is the favorable condition for this red soil is, this red soil will be, you can find in the area of low rainfall regions. Low rainfall regions, not I'm not saying no rainfall. Okay, it will be a low rainfall region where the rainfall is very limited. Let us say 150 centimeter, below 150 centimeter you can find this red soil. So what are the areas you can find red soil is, you can see this red soil mainly in Tamil Nadu and parts of Chhattisgarh, Orissa and Chota Nagpur plateau. You can find this red soil. Okay, one important thing about this red soil is about the color. Why the soil is red in color is because of the ferric oxide, the presence of ferric oxide, which is nothing but the iron. So because of presence of iron, this soil is red in color. That is the only thing you have to keep in mind with respect to red soil. Okay, so about ferric oxide, it is red in color. What about the remaining composition? Remaining composition, it is very lacking. Okay, like lime, magnesia and other alkalis, it is very lacking, but it is fairly rich in potash also. Okay, potash is also present in good amount. Why I am repeating these chemical compositions again and again is because UPSC has consistently asked questions in the previous years. That's why with regard to every soil, I am mentioning here and there about the composition. But don't worry, at the end of this session, we'll give you a full chart about the composition where you can just memorize those things. Okay. So that is about the red soil. We have dealt about the red soil. These few points are there about the red soil. Okay. Next, we will move into the next important soil group, which is the laterite soil. The fourth important soil type in Indian geography is the laterite soil. Okay, the first point about this laterite soil is, what is the favorable condition for this laterite soil is high temperature and heavy rainfall. Not high rainfall, it is heavy rainfall. So where can you find this high temperature and heavy rainfall? In the Western Ghats. Okay, so in Western Ghats you can find these laterite soils only. Okay, regions adjoining to the Western Ghats you can find these laterite soil. Very particularly you can find this in the Rajmahal Hills, Vindhya and Satpura ranges, and also in Malwa Plateau you can find these laterite soil. Okay, that is one thing. So I have mentioned about heavy rainfall. Okay, when there is a heavy rainfall, what happens? The minerals present in the soil will be leached away. Okay, it will be washed, it will be leached consistently. Okay, so all the important minerals like lime, silica, everything are leached or washed away, and the remaining soil will be left only with iron and aluminium. Okay, iron and aluminum oxides will be left, and all the important minerals like lime and magnesia are washed away. That is why it is known as the leaching soil, or otherwise known as the laterite soil. Okay, that is one important feature to be mentioned here. And another one important thing is, this laterite soil, since all the important minerals are washed away, this lacks very much in fertility. Okay, this soil is not at all fertile since all the minerals are washed away. It lacks in fertility. Since it is lacking in fertility, only plantation crops like tea, rubber, that can be planted in this laterite soil. So in Western Ghats you can find the plantation crops because of this reason only. Okay, in Western Ghats full of laterite soil is there. Because of that only you can find most of the plantation crops with respect to Western Ghats. Okay, that is one important point. And another one thing is, it helps in the building material. This laterite soil is very much useful in building material, especially in the formation of bricks. Why is, when you take this laterite soil and pour some water, it will be so clay, okay, it will be so soft and clay and muddy type. On the same hand, if you expose this laterite soil to air, it will form very hard like rock, okay. That's why it is used in the making of bricks. So that is laterite soil. We have dealt about these four soils are the very important types, okay. First we have dealt with the alluvial soil, next with the black soil, red and laterite soil. These are the important four. Remaining three are not that much important, but these four you have to study very importantly. Every soil has a unique feature, okay. With alluvial soil, we learned about the four types of alluvium, and it is of deposition nature. And black soil, why it is black in color and retentive of moisture. Red soil, why it is the color of red soil, because of the ferric oxide. And with respect to laterite soil, it is leaching away, so it is not fertile at all. It is used in the bricks manufacturing, okay. So every soil has an important features, and that is where UPSC will be consistently asking questions. So remember that in mind. So next we will move to the next type of soil. So the next important soil type we are going to see about the forest and mountain soil, okay. As the name describes, the soils present in the forest and mountain comes under the section forest and mountain soils, okay. So what happens is, the first point is, these soils are very heterogeneous in nature, okay, heterogeneous. The soils found in the close proximity, they will be in the close proximity only. But if you take the soil and if you examine all the soils, okay, since they are in the close proximity, those soils texture, color, everything will be different. So it is very heterogeneous in nature, okay. Also, these soils are very rich in organic matter, so humus. Okay, since these are found in forest and mountains, okay, that will be full of trees only. So all the fallen leaves and the excreta of animals, their wildlife, so all will mix, and it is good in humus, okay. So this is the most fertile soil. Forest and mountain soils are very fertile in nature, okay, that is one thing. And another one important thing is, these are very good for the plantation crops. Plantation crops grows well in this forest and mountain soils, okay. Why like that? Because if you see the field crops like paddy and maize, those plants will be having a very, the roots of those field crops will be not that much strong. Okay, it will be very soft in nature. On the other hand, if you take plantation crops like tea, rubber, spices like ginger and all, the root will be very hard. Okay, it will be very tough in nature. Okay, so for a terrain like forest and mountain, okay, the roots should be very strong. Okay, that is why field crops can't be cultivated in these type of forest. Okay, so one important thing is, this is the most fertile soil. It is very much rich in humus and organic matter. Okay, we'll go into the next soil type. The next soil type we are going to study is the desert and alkaline soils. Okay, so desert and alkaline soil, what is the favorable condition of this soil is very low rainfall. Okay, very low rainfall, which is less than 50 centimeter. Less than 50 centimeter of rainfall should be there. So when it is desert, you can easily say it is regions of Rajasthan. In Rajasthan and adjoining areas like Haryana, Punjab, you can find these type of desert and alkaline soil. So how this soil is formed? Mainly because of disintegration of rocks. Okay, we have in physical geography, we have dealt how this rocks has been disintegrated. There are many ways in which a rock is disintegrated, like mechanical, chemical and all. But here, mainly with respect to this type of soil, it is the mechanical disintegration of the rocks. Why mechanical disintegration? Because in desert, there will be huge velocity of wind. Okay, the wind will be so much, and because of that wind, all the rocks will disintegrate and it is transported from place to place, and that is how these desert soils are formed. In the regions of Rajasthan and adjoining areas, you can find this soil. That is one thing. Another one thing, what about the fertility of this soil? Desert soil is infertile. Okay, you can't, because in desert there is no plantations. Okay, for a very simple reason that when these the desert soil, we have studied that because of mechanical disintegration only. Because of that, more amount of salt is there. Okay, more amount of salt is there in the soil, and because of that you can't salt or alkaline, I can say. Alkaline means what? More number of salt is there, huge amount of salt like calcium carbonate. This salt will be there in the mud, and because of that this soil is infertile. But this desert soil, when there is adequate amount of rainfall, okay, when adequate amount of rainfall, this soils can be fertile because of the presence of phosphate and nitrogen. Phosphate and nitrogen are present adequate level in this soil. Also salt is there. Salt is there in huge amount, because of that infertile. But also phosphate and nitrogen are adequate. So only told when there is adequate amount of rainfall, this soil may turn into a fertile soil. That is with respect to your desert and alkaline. Alkaline means very salty in nature. We have known about the region, Rajasthan and adjoining areas you can find. Okay, in south also there is one region where you can find these type of soil, which is Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka also. Some parts of Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka you can find this desert and alkaline soil. Main reason for that is your canal irrigation. Okay, canal irrigation is mainly followed in these areas. Okay, and also in areas of very high subsoil water table also you can find this desert soil. So what happens in canal irrigation and high subsoil water table areas, those salt present in the underground, they will come up and they will be deposited there by the action of capillary action. Okay, in physics you could have studied about the capillary action. Because of surface tension, this capillary action happens. What is capillary action? The liquid or the particles present in the underground, they will come up without any external forces. In opposition to the gravity, they will come up. Because of this capillary action, all the salt present in the underground of the table, they will come up and they will be deposited. Okay, since it is full of salt, the areas of Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka where canal irrigation is there, it is infertile and you can't grow crops there. Okay, that is with your desert and alkaline soil. We will move into the next type of soil. So the last soil type in Indian geography is your peat and marshy soil. Okay, the first point to note down here is this soil is formed because of the accumulation of more number of organic matter. That is the important point. And where can you find this peat and marshy soil? Exclusively in Kerala. And in Kerala also there are two regions where you can find this exact type of soil, which is your Kottayam and Alappuzha. In Kerala, especially in Kottayam and Alappuzha, you can find these peat and marshy soil. Those soils are referred as curry in Kerala, in these regions especially. Okay, so it is organic in nature and you can especially find in Kottayam and Alappuzha regions of this type. Okay, and what about the composition? It is highly acidic. These soils are highly acidic. What do you mean by acidic? The pH levels are less than 7. That is acidic. So these soil are very much acidic in nature. Okay, so that is with respect to your soil types. Now we have started from alluvial, we have dealt with alluvial, black soil, red soil, laterite soil. These four are very important, and we also dealt with the forest soil, desert soil, and also about your peat and marshy soils. So next what we will be doing is about your tabular column. We will just speak about all the composition of all the soils what we have studied in the earlier sessions. So far we have discussed about the types of soil, 7 types of soil. Now we have brought you a tabular column in which there is types of soil and about the composition of the soil. Okay. First one is the alluvial soil. About the composition, it is rich in potash and phosphorus but lacks nitrogen. Second is your black soil, which is retentive of moisture. Third one is your red soil, which is rich in potash but lacks lime, phosphate and nitrogen. Fourth one is your laterite soil, which lacks in lime, magnesia and nitrogen, but it is very rich in iron and aluminium. The fifth one is your forest and mountain soils, which is rich in humus. At the same time, it lacks potash, phosphorus and lime. The sixth type of soil is your desert and arid soils, which is rich in phosphate and nitrate. The seventh one is your peaty and marshy soil, which is very much acidic. At the same time, it lacks in potash and phosphate. Okay, so this is about your tabular column, and I hope I don't know about UPSC, but with respect to any state government exams or you are appearing for SSC, this tabular column will be of very great use, because very many one-liners can be asked from this tabular column. Okay, so there is no way, just memorize this tabular column, which will be very useful for us. Okay, so that is about types of soil. We are ending it here. So what are the parameters you should study in this types of soil is, you should always study with the map. Okay, if you open your atlas, there is a separate section for types of soil. The important thing is in the soil is, you just find, if you are studying about alluvial soil, you just mark the areas in the map where this alluvial soil is present. Okay, that will only help with respect to your UPSC prelim. Okay, if you are studying for any state government exam of SSC, then you can note down the points. But with respect to UPSC, please again I am mentioning, know about the places. Okay, you take a map and you just mark where are the soils present. That will be of great use. Other than the map, if you want to study the points, what are the parameters you will be studying? First, you will study about the formation. Why this soil is formed? For formation or the name. Okay, if for example black soil or red soil, why it is black in color, why it is red in color, like that. Formation or the name reason. That is the first point. The second thing is about the composition. What is the composition and why it is lacking in that? For example, laterite soil, why it is lacking in lime and magnesium? Because it is leached away. Those soils are found in high rainfall regions. So automatically the minerals present in the upper layer are washed away. Like that, you know the reason why it is lacking in that. And third important thing is where these soils are present, okay, in which region it is present, and what is the characteristic, what is the favorable condition like high temperature or low temperature, like that. You know the condition. And the fourth important thing is the crops. What are the crops that can be grown here? This is the parameter in which you should deal with separate soils. And very important thing is about the locations. Take a map and refer to the locations. That is about the type of soil. I hope I have cleared all the types of soil, and we will meet in the next video. Thank you.